Well, that's right, Matt. Ed Miliband saying that he's commissioned this investigation by the National Energy Systems Operator into this specific incident, but also into any wider lessons to be learned on energy resilience for critical national infrastructure, both now and in the future. And there is plenty to be cleared up. One thing, should Heathrow have had a full generating backup system that it could have switched to? The CEO seemed to be saying that he wasn't aware of any airport in the world that would have such a scale of system, but there are other energy industry voices we've spoken to that say it's not unrealistic that other types of national infrastructure do have just those sorts of redundancies. Also questions as to exactly how it got back up and running. The airport saying that its engineers worked very hard to restructure the power supply using all three of the substations that supply Heathrow, but the National Grid is saying that it was when the resumption of supplies to the customers of that one substation that was hit by the fire, when that happened, that was what allowed Heathrow to get back up and running. Back up and running it is, and both passengers and airlines having to undo the damage of Friday's fire.
A morning at Heathrow that looked like any other, but was of course far from normal. This was recovery mode from yesterday's sudden total shutdown, cancelling more than 1,300 flights. Fully operational was today's message from the airport, with hundreds of extra staff dealing with the fallout near and far.
It's that much harder because I don't know how to get home. And this was my first big vacation with my kids since my husband died. And it's preventing now this, so I just want to go home.
British Airways said 85% of its scheduled 600 flights in and out would go ahead today. But with so many passengers, planes and crew still where they shouldn't be, unpicking this complex mess will take days yet. And for those caught up in it, the lingering question, how did it happen?
It was also very strange to go by Heathrow last night in my taxi to get me here, and it was dead, so that was very strange. But hopefully the infrastructure can be improved so that this type of thing doesn't happen for a whole 24-hour period again.
So what of that infrastructure? Was there enough protection between the transformers at the substation, both of which ended up being taken out by the blaze? And to what extent was the airport reliant on this one piece of the electrical grid?
Much has been made of this one substation acting as a single point of failure, taking out operations across the whole of the airport. But the chief executive of Heathrow has today confirmed that it's one of three substations that power Heathrow. So questions today focusing more on why it took nearly the whole of Friday to switch the source of power and get Heathrow back up and running.
The National Grid says customers connected to the substation have now had their power restored, and it was that allowed the airport to resume operations. One expert on grid resilience says West London data centres, which can use more than double Heathrow's electricity needs, didn't go down because they have full generator backup.
The substation that went off is about 20 megawatts, which is about 18,000 homes equivalent, so it's a lot of electricity. But to put that into context, that's about 20 40-foot containers with generators in them, which isn't a massive amount. And like I said, data centers do that for their load, which is higher. So I think there is a valid argument that standby generation probably will be deployed to Heathrow after this event.
He says for Heathrow, such a system would cost £10 to £15 million, and that other UK airports with similarly vulnerable power supplies are already seeking advice. The government now promising to learn the wider lessons through an investigation by the National Energy System Operator. Heathrow's previously hidden threat, highlighting broader latent risks to national security.